Hardcore Nuzlockes of vanilla Pokemon games have been milked like crazy recently on YouTube. So many just normal hardcore Nuzlockes of Gen 3, and that's pretty much it, like no gimmick to it. That's so underwhelming as these games are objectively babycore minus levels of difficulty, and that's a fact. This video will prove that without a shadow of a doubt. I'm the Nuzlocke enjoyer after all, I've got a reputation to uphold. This challenge I'm going to go even further beyond and answer the question, can you beat hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Fire Red with only one Pokemon? What? Okay, so let me go over the rules. If you don't know what a hardcore Nuzlocke rules are, then ask in the comments and I'll probably answer. But the actual gimmick of this Nuzlocke is that in this challenge I am only allowed to have one Pokemon in my party at any time throughout the game. Yes, I am allowed to switch my one Pokemon around, but every battle I must enter with only one Pokemon. This means that every single gym leader, rival in the whole Elite Four must be beaten with only one Pokemon, while also being level capped of course. Now this is some big boy spice right here. Get ready for some sweeping cheese strats. The only extra rules were that HM slaves were allowed, but they obviously cannot be used in battle. The HM slaves, that was only really relevant for like Erica's gym, and like one time I had to use a flash user, but that was pretty much it. The only extra rule is that obviously setup moves are going to be banned, because anyone who knows what they're doing could just trivialize the game with Dragon Dance Gyarados to make this challenge a complete joke, or should I say more of a joke than it already is. The funny thing is that most of the mons in this run don't even get used at all. Hell, I even skipped like half of my encounters as I did this on my third attempt, and at that point I was just speedrunning. Now, a really interesting thing is that this is Fire Red version. If you're playing on Leaf Green version, you can actually get Staryu, and basically Starmie can trivialize the whole second half of the game. It destroys it hits everything in Elite Four super effectively apart from Alakazam, and even that you can probably handle quite easily. So yeah, I'm playing Fire Red so I can't abuse that. But for my starter anyways, I pick Squirtle. It can wall out so much stuff, and also water types are just so overpowered, and also the champion's Venusaur, it basically just sits on its ass and does nothing. Make sure you reset for a Pog Squirtle though. I did that and man I got a Pog Squirtle, so get your Pokeballs and start the Sololocke. So begin in Nuzlocke, and just like always in Fire Red, just go and catch your first few mons. Now, what makes this really easy is that your encounters are going to be extremely consistent, so you're almost always going to have the same encounters. Most of these early game encounters, I literally just did not use at all. I used Pidgeotto for like a few cannon fodder battles, as it's got pretty decent stats before Gym 2. And you could definitely use Guts Eradicate. Like Guts Eradicate with Return, you could definitely sweep Sabrina with it easily if you EV train. And I did use Primate for one battle, but really, like, most of these encounters, they're not going to be too impactful. I will say Fearow, which you can get, is actually a pretty good encounter. Also, I will be prefacing that I am allowing rare candies to make grinding more manageable. I'm still going to be within level caps, and I know a lot of people are going to complain. It's really, I don't care. It doesn't make the challenge any easier, it just makes it so I don't have to spend a stupid amount of time grinding, you know. This isn't my job, I have other commitments as well. But using rare candy actually makes the early game harder, as you actually don't gain any EVs. And a lot of these boss battles were actually done without any EV points, which is kind of funny. But yeah, as long as you have Pog Squirtle, you're basically set for the challenge, you really are. There was this one time where I underestimated this Weedle and almost lost my Squirtle because I forgot that it didn't have Water Gun at this level. But yeah, that's kind of funny. Anyway, so go to Brock, and okay, listen up. Here's my strategy for Brock. So for the first bit of the game, after I catch all my Pokemon, I just use Squirtle as my one Pokemon. So Squirtle is the only Pokemon that I'm using in battle right now. Here's how I beat Brock. So Brock sends out a Geodude, I send out Squirtle. I use them with Water Gun, and in case you didn't know, Water Gun is 4 times super effective against Geodude because Geodude is a rock ground type and he has very low special defense, so guess what, Geodude gets killed in one hit. Very nice. Onix comes out and it literally just does nothing, and guess what, Water Gun is also KO, because in case you didn't know, Onix is 4 times weak to Water Gun and the Squirtle's hell strong, and I win. As you can see, I win this battle reasonably easily. It was a bit meme-tastic, if I must say so myself. Pretty nice. So carry on, then get the War Turtle in. This War Turtle with bold nature and amazing IVs, it pretty much destroys everything. I do get a Spearow now, and Fearo's actually really good. It basically just replaces Pidgeotto once you get access to it. It will be used for one battle. You could also use it to sweep Sabrina if you want with the right EVs. It just one-shots Alakazam with their turn, which is quite nice. Also, yeah, the plus attack badge boost from Brock's gym badge is really nice. So go into the cave and you get Zubat also. Zubat is actually really nice actually. It's a pretty good mon, even though it's not a Crobat, but it completely trivializes every single grass type in this game. So really good for Erica. So carry on, and yeah, no one in Mount Moon really gives you any trouble. You could get extremely unlucky if you get poisoned and stuff, but just make sure you've got antidotes and you should be fine. You shouldn't have any issues here. Now go to Nugget Bridge, and here, like, because the rival has Bulbasaur, War Turtle is my mon, is not going to work, so I'm going to have to change something else. So for the rival battle here, I just use Fearow, and level 21 Fearow is enough to just beat him really easily. You could get really unlucky against the Pidgeotto, but if you use Leer and Fury Attack, that usually just two-shots it. And also this Fearow has 0 EVs on it, because I just use rare candies. So if you have some EVs, this will make the battle even easier, but you shouldn't have too much issue with this. I will say almost literally every single normal trainer in this game is complete cannon fodder, even with a single mon in your party. Like, literally they just do nothing. A really important counter after Nugget Bridge is make sure you get Oddish, which you can actually repel minute for, which is really good. Oddish is so good. You really want it. Now, moving on, we go to Misty, and here you're going to see exactly why Oddish is so good. Gloom almost literally trivializes Misty. Unless you get extremely unlucky to, like, Water Pulse Confusion, you will have absolutely 0 issue winning. You could even Poison Powder and Absorb the Starmie and you just win. Yeah, so carry on real easy. So I keep Gloom as my one Pokemon just for now. Here I get a Meowth, and Meowth is very important. You never use it, but the pickup ability is very good to allow you to farm berries and such. There will be 1 or 2 instances where you might want berries, like for Erica. Or for Lieutenant Surge, actually in hindsight, cherry berries are really good, so I'd recommend you get them. Next rival battle, I was a little bit anxious about this, but turned out that Golbat just trivializes this really. The Kadabra doesn't actually attack. Even the, like, Raticate, for example, just gets destroyed, and Ivysaur literally cannot touch you, so that was quite easy. So move on to Lieutenant Surge, and this is arguably the hardest gym leader, which is actually really saying something. Once again, I use Gloom. Now, I did have to EV train a little bit for this gym battle, mainly for HP. It wasn't that much, but it was enough to make a difference. Like, you could get very unlucky with paralysis and such, but Gloom still takes hits really well from all of Lieutenant Surge's mons, and you can spam Sleep Powder and Absorb and you'll beat pretty much everything. I actually use Poison Powder against Raichu because that lets you just sit there and spam double team, so you could just slowly drain its HP while healing yourself up. And unless you get really unlucky, you should be fine in this battle more often than not, so that's really good. Another really nice thing is that you get the gym free badge boost, so 10% speed boost is always nice. Now go through Rock Tunnel, and the funny thing is that in Rock Tunnel I don't even bother with my encounter. You basically use like the same few mons for the entirety of the run, and that's basically it, but I do actually make sure that I look at the trainer docs for the random trainers. War Turtle handles almost literally everything, but there are some who have like grass type specialists, so you'll want to bring Golbat for that. The funny thing is that Golbat even beats like a lot of the hikers with Geodude with Bite, and the Geodudes don't actually use like rock moves. It's kind of funny. Even when they do, it doesn't even hurt Golbat that much. That was kind of funny. But yeah, go towards the 4th gym, then just bring Golbat and you win. I did bring Meowth as an HM slave, but obviously I did not use it in battle. They literally just cannot touch Golbat. So you spam wing attack and you just win. It was kind of funny. And before some people start complaining in the comment section that I have 2 Pokemon in my party instead of 1, even though I won the battle with only 1 Mon. So yeah. And after this, I actually leave the rival battle and Giovanni battle after Erica, just to make them a little bit more easy. So I set the level cap to level 30, is that's the level that my Golbat is at. So I was a little bit wary of the Primate, but turned out my anxiety was completely unfounded because Primate ended up completely destroying his team. Like, it literally took no damage in just won. It didn't even need any EVs, it was kind of funny. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And the rival also, you just win with Gyarados. Just use Dragon Rage and you win. That's basically it. I did get really unlucky against Ivysaur, and I did have to legitimately dodge a crit, which was pretty scary. Okay, I will say I did luck out there. So that was my first meaningful crit dodge of the run. So I probably could have been a little bit more careful. The Gyarados did end up being rash nature with bad IVs, so that probably mattered. So now just go straight to Koga's gym, and just a really good thing is that makes this challenge so fast to do is that almost literally every single trainer in this game is skippable. Like here, you just move to the next gym instantly without having to battle almost nobody. So that's really good, it just saves so much time. And I catch more mons that I'll never be using, like Doduo. So yeah, I do catch Snorlax, and you would think this would be absolutely monstrous, but in a solo lock, it's not that amazing outside of like maybe 1 or 2 battles. It can definitely sweep Sabrina, but for that, as you're about to see, I use something else. I could potentially use this against Elite Four, as this literally does trivialize every single special attacker, but the only issue is the physical attackers that Bruno has. That's kind of unfortunate. So a really important thing that I do is make sure that you get Abra. If you didn't encounter an Abra, which you could do with Arena Trap Diglett, you could just buy one from Celadon City. And luckily I get a really nice Abra. It's got really good IVs and Bold Nature, which doesn't hurt. So go to Koga's gym, and Snorlax actually destroys all the trainers in there. Then for Koga himself, I just use Kadabra. It's got a little bit of EVs. I just bought 10 calciums and gave it that, and that was all I did for EV training. But yeah, I actually forgot to evolve into Alakazam, but it didn't even matter because it literally just one-shots his entire team on its own, which was pretty funny. Next rival battle, this time I do bring Alakazam, and a pretty strong Alakazam will just trivialize this battle. You might need to do a little bit of EV training, and weirdly enough, I use mixed attacking Alakazam, as you're about to see, which sounds pretty crazy. So Pidgeot, Gyarados, pretty much everything apart from his own Alakazam gets trivialized. For his own Alakazam, you could legit lose because that thing has Calm Mind and Recover, so bring Shadow Ball and just destroy it. If it wasn't for Bold Nature, I would have just outright two-shotted it, which is really funny. Yeah, mix attacking Alakazam. Just don't let your memes be dreams, you know. And obviously Venusaur just gets blasted, which is really funny. Giovanni also does absolutely nothing now that I finally have my MVP of the run, Blastoise. And you just win with it. Like, he just barely touches me at all. That was really anticlimactic. Sabrina is next, and for this, Snorlax easily works. Like, obviously, just Snorlax with Shadow Ball just destroys almost every special attacker, particularly Psychic types, but for this I use a spicy pick. Hypno. It's actually got a minus special defense nature, and I did not bother EV training this at all. It has 0 EVs, but it doesn't matter because with Shadow Ball, it destroys everything. It one-shots 2 of our mons, and then 2-shots the rest. Even Alakazam doesn't even do that much damage to it, which was really funny. Now, moving on, go to Pokemon Mansion, and I don't even bother getting my encounter there. For now, I just use Blastoise as my one Pokemon for almost like the entirety of the rest of the run. Blastoise is really good. The funny thing is that if I were playing Leaf Green version, especially by the time you get to Koga, you would literally just get Starmie and you would just win because Ice Beam, Surf, Thunderbolt, and Psychic, in maybe return for Alakazam. You literally just destroy every single thing in this game. It's pretty funny, but I actually forgot that you couldn't get Stormy, which was kind of a shame. So actually I had to figure something else, but Blastoise works similarly as well. But obviously against Blaine, I didn't even need to try. I don't even have EVs on this Blastoise. I just use Surf and I win. And that's pretty much it. Like, yeah, that's Pog Blastoise for you. After that, I just go straight to the final gym battle. Now, I never actually knew that you could actually skip the Sevi Island questline and just do it afterwards. I actually never knew that, so it's kind of weird how I beat the 7th gym, then I go straight to the 8th gym right after that and beat like 2 trainers on the way there. But obviously, this battle is an absolute joke. You use Surf and you win. I didn't even bother healing up my Blastoise. Remember that other video I did where I literally swept this battle with a flipping Wartortle? I used a flipping Wartortle and I swept this battle with the greatest of ease. Yeah, obviously Blastoise is just going to have an absolute cakewalk with this. This is funny. The penultimate rival battle, and this time I bust out the Alakazam again, give it a little bit more EVs, and it pretty much destroys everything. Alakazam is like the only thing that can somewhat take hits from it. And I think Psychic actually does do more damage to Shadow Ball, but the only issue is that it could potentially use Calm Mind and it could potentially like just steamroll you if you're not careful. But apart from Alakazam, literally everything else in this team gets one-shotted. That's really funny. It is really good having that in Badge 7 boost of the 10% special attack and special defense. It is quite noticeable. So with that done, I go to the Pokemon League and I just bring Blastoise with me. And the funny thing about this actually is that you can literally skip every single trainer in Victory Road, so I could have brought a level 1 Rattata for all I cared. It still wouldn't have mattered. But as long as you get to Elite 4 in one piece, that's really all that really matters. Now, I did think a little bit about who to bring to Elite 4. Like, not having Stormy kind of sucked. I could potentially bring Alakazam, but there will be some luck involved. If I could use Calm Mind, I would win easily. It would one-shot Agatha's whole team, but Lance could potentially KO me with a critical hit. So in the end, I decided to just use Blastoise in that one. And in hindsight, that was a really good choice. I now decided to fully EV train it, so it's a really tanky monster, and I gave the moveset Protect, Return, Surf and Toxic. I'm basically doing a Toxic Stalling variant with leftovers. The Toxic Stalling is more just for Lorelei. The other Elite 4 members, you don't even need Toxic, you just win with Surf. Then Return is also there to deal damage to Lorelei's mons, but once you get to Lance, you could just put Ice Beam on. You will need that for the champion anyways. Now, I wasn't 100% sure how this would turn out. I decided to set my level cap to the champion's level cap, and a lot of people say, oh, it's supposed to be set to Lance's level cap. Well, remember, I'm going into the Pokemon League with only one Pokemon, and the champion has a level 63, so that has a type advantage against me, so it seems pretty fair to have a level 63 Blastoise. But unless you're too unlucky, this should actually end up going really smoothly for you. Lorelei is kind of a meme because you do have a big level advantage. You pretty much just destroy everything. You could use Return, Protect, Leftovers, you could stall almost indefinitely. And even the tankier stuff like Lapras and Slowbro, you could just use Toxic to stall them out completely with Protect. They're barely going to do any damage to you, and your Leftovers will just heal you up completely. A really good strategy that I did was just make sure to bait out the full restores on the Slowbro, so when Lapras comes out in the Jinx, they don't get healed up. But it doesn't matter too much, like, as long as you know what you're doing, you should win this really easily. It just takes a little bit of time. But there's really nothing to it. You do have a big level advantage here after all. I will say, after I did that Lorelei battle, I was so shocked at how easy that battle was. How ridiculously underwhelming it ended up being that I actually went into Peaky Hex and I lowered my Blastoise's level to 61 just to make it hopefully a slight bit more entertaining. Also because at this rate, though I entered at the champion's level, I would definitely over level by the time that I reached him, so I reduced my level by 2 just so I can actually be at level 63 by the time I get to the champion, because if I over level him, that'd be a bit anticlimactic. But yeah, Bruno is even easier than Lorelei. Literally just spam surf and you win. Against Machamp, if it gets multiple cross chop crits, it could potentially threat you, but I do have plus defense nature and that's pretty much it. At this point you don't need return anymore, so you can go ahead and just replace return with Ice Beam. You will need that for Lance and Champion anyways. You don't really use it that much against Agatha. But after that you go to Agatha, and Agatha's probably the... She could be a little bit tricky if you're very unlucky. You shouldn't have too much problem. The only issue is that potentially Golbat could get Toxic on you if you're unlucky. If it goes for Poison Fang and it gets a Toxic on you, you could potentially lose because Toxic damage will just rack up. Or if her stronger Gengar uses Hypnosis and uses Nightmare, and then you sleep for several turns, and you don't Magic KO that Gengar, you could potentially lose, but more often than not you should be fine. If you get poisoned by a Sludge Bomb, that's actually a good thing, is it's not like Toxic, the damage is going to rack up too much, and you can't be put to sleep, so you just two-shot everything. But yeah, you literally just two-shot everything. Both Gengars get two-shot shotted by Surf, and I ended up just one-shotting the Golbat anyways, which is kind of funny. I start getting crits also, as if I even needed them. But yeah, the Gengar Sludge Bomb just does nothing to me. It doesn't go for Nightmare for some reason. So I basically just win. And the final Haunter fittingly just curses itself to death, which is really funny. I swear to God, this game is such a meme. I can't believe I somehow found... I used to think this was hard when I was a 10-year-old. I don't know what I was thinking back then. I was a stupid 10-year-old. Really flipping stupid. But yeah, you use Ice Beam, then you go to Lance. I will say, I do use Toxic against the Gyarados, as that thing is pretty tanky, but the battle goes really smoothly. Water types are so good because ice coverage, water ice coverage is so overpowered. The only things that resist water are grass and dragon, and they just get hit super effectively by water. So in Gen 3, I feel like water types are just so overpowered. Like, the Dragonaires barely take a hit. I think it's actually possible to one-shot them, which I do to the second one, which is really funny. Even Outrage doesn't even do that much, and any damage I do take gets just completely healed up by leftovers. Even the Dragonite barely takes an Ice Beam, which is really funny. And you just win really easily. Again. Now, all that aside, all that disappointment aside, I will say the champion, who I literally did zero preparation for, he actually ended up being tricky, and this was the hardest battle of the whole run because I could have potentially lost this battle. Real talk. I think I had to dodge 1 or 2 crits. So this was the only real challenging battle of the run. Now, obviously the lead Pidgeot does nothing. Its air release does a shockingly small amount of damage, which is just ludicrous. You just two-shot it and that's that. Venusaur, the ace is out, and this thing, if it does get a strong hit on me, it could actually be quite threatening, but as I said at the beginning of this video, this Venusaur, it likes to just sit on its hands and do nothing, so it uses Sunny Day, then it uses Synthesis, then it uses Growth, when it could have almost KO'd me with Solar Beam. I could have potentially healed myself up though. I probably could have taken a Solar Beam and still won, but had I gotten hit by Solar Beam, I very well might have lost the damage because Alakazam might have been able to finish me off. I forgot that, yeah, the sun was actually still up, so I wasn't able to deal that much damage to Alakazam, which is quite annoying. Otherwise, I would have just two-shotted it, but because of the sun, the Alakazam was able to Psychic me and get special defense drop, which was really bad. And I was dead to a critical hit, which was really bad. Thankfully, I was able to take it. Then Rhydon came in next, obviously that just gets destroyed. Now Gyarados, this thing was a bit of a threat purely because my Blastoise is actually quite low now and it has Dragon Rage, so it could theoretically deal some damage. Also, the special defense drop is not very nice at this point, but I do get a nice freeze on Gyarados. But this was getting a little bit dicey. I did end up toxic stalling it, but on Arcanine, the final mon, my Blastoise, only has 71 HP, and you would think I could handle this easily, but because of the special defense drop, I was in fact dead to a critical hit. I did not expect that. I did not expect to be dead to a critical hit Flamethrower, considering how tanky my Blastoise is, but no, that was surprisingly close. But with that done, the run's over. I've dodged a grand total of 3 critical hits in this whole run, I think. 3 crits in this whole run. But with that, I've done it. I have Nuzlocked Pokemon Fire Red Hardcore with only 1 Pokemon in my party. If that doesn't go to show how meme-tastically babycore minus in difficulty this game actually is, I don't know what will. Hell, most of these battles, the majority of these battles, I didn't even need to EV train. I didn't even need to use my brain. You just click your best move and you win. Like, you can bring 6 Pokemon to a battle, but you just bring 1 and you win easily. That's basically the run over. So that's pretty much the end of the video. Thank you guys for watching. My next video will be a challenge run on Pokemon Radical Red, where I only use trash mons, and that is going to be a little bit more, that is definitely going to be more challenging. For that, I had to genuinely use my brain, so if you want to see something that's more challenging, then stay tuned for that. But definitely feel free to leave some suggestions on what challenges you'd like to see. Some people don't really like seeing me do vanilla games too much, and that's kind of understandable. But I will definitely be doing ROM hacks like Vintage White and such. But I hope you enjoyed this really spicy challenge, and I will see you all next time. This is the Nuzlocke Enjoyer, signing out.